Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. And we're zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on the empowering tools that you can use to handle an emotional manipulator in your environment, in your life. This person can be a spouse, this person might be a sibling, this person might be a coworker, it might be a neighbor. We have viewers who have all sorts of different relationship dynamics. And it is very important that really when you look on this healing journey, that you look at the tools that you can use to empower you. And empowerment means you're using your ability to respond, not react. So response means you're using that little bit of delay time where before reacting, before becoming, the automatic pilot, doing sort of your knee-jerk reactions to a situation, a person, it's really taking a time to draw back and compose yourself. It's using the role of metacognition, which gets you out of the fight or flight and into more of a peaceful yet intense perspective. So it's very difficult for a lot of people who have been manipulated to make this change, to make this energetic shift. Instead of being from reactive or not knowing how to respond, so being in the freeze mode, or being in the FOD mode, or being in the depressed mode or the anxious mode. So to get out of that energetic space and get to a space where you can be more responsive, which means you're handling the situation with deliberacy, with commitment. It means that you understand the cause that's created the effect and also how to stop yourself, and not only from overreacting, but reacting negatively, and also how to stop yourself from also being in the sort of emotional paralysis or analysis mode. So really there's kind of two switches when we really look at it, and it varies per person. So especially for those people who have just spent their life just in the freeze mode, just not doing anything. They don't know how to respond. They just, they're just staying stuck. It's very important that you learn that you need to take some deliberate, gentle action in the order of what I call positive orderly direction thinking, which means you're getting out of the lower energy, sort of where you're not protecting yourself, or perhaps you're expecting someone else to come up and protect you. It's to look at sort of how you have been expecting others to either change and you're leaving the ball in their court versus saying, okay, I understand where this is a boundary violation. I understand that my doing nothing is allowing it to happen. So, and also my reacting is to perpetuate the problem itself. So there's a very, very delicate sort of balance between either reacting or underreacting, if you will. And it's to understand, so you do need to process this. That's why it's so important for you to go on your recovery dates and do your recovery journal and do your mindfulness, where you get a chance to reflect and process the relationship issues, the problematic dynamics, understanding perhaps, the why, the cause has created this effect, and understand then the cause has created the effect of where you're at right now. So you do need to kind of do your homework. You do need to look at the roots that go down that have caused this to blossom or be created in your life. So it's to understand that the problem is an effect, not a cause. So when you're staying in that problem space, you're staying in you're staying in the effect, if you will. So once you look at the cause, you're then able to really free yourself and liberate yourself and become empowered. So namely, a very important tool is to get into sort of a mindful state. So mindful meaning where you're in the present moment, but you're not worried about the future, you're not worried about the past, and you're not labeling yourself as a victim, as being defeated, as being violated. So you're letting go of those negative labels for your past that you've really kind of carrying on and holding onto in the present moment, but you're also releasing those as they carry into the future. So it is in a state of letting go. And so that is a feeling and experience that you need to cultivate, meaning you need to develop, you need to cultivate it, you need to, work on it, you need to get your sort of mind, body, and spirit, your essence coming together in alignment and working in congruency and getting into that essence aspect of you. And if you need help letting go, oftentimes it's letting go of the person and the negative effects of that person, and perhaps having empathy or compassion, realizing that they are acting in the way that they are because they're trying to get something that they need, and it's a direct conflict with what you need. So that's why there is this tension. That's why the manipulation exists, is because someone is trying to get something that they want, but keep it hidden from view. So if you look at it, it's kind of like this person is trying to take something from you without your giving it. This person is trying to take something from you without you giving it. So it's without your permission. It's really the underhanded experience, I think, that is causing, it's the cause has created the effect. So they're trying to force an outcome. They're trying to control, something which is organic or natural or that belongs to you. They're taking that precedence or domineering control over you. So again, it's a taking energy. It's not a giving or allowing energy. So this can create that manipulation and create that tension. So you need to energetically understand what is taking from you and what is giving to you. And if you realize that there's this taking energy, this controlling energy, you need to understand just what that is and what that does and how it affects you, and to let it go. So to release control over you that you will not allow. So it's to release. I'm releasing those individuals and those experiences that have had negative control over me now. I'm releasing those individuals and experiences that have had negative control over me now. I'm releasing them and I'm letting them go to the higher power, and I'm throwing them into the Christ consciousness within me, that higher divine infinite intelligence of the universe, whatever you want to call it in your heart, but I'm giving it up to that now. And allowing, and so it is. And I'm allowing this to be, and I'm blissful in this experience. I delight in this experience. I am lighter and I'm happier because of this now. And as you energetically let go, it's to remove that from your energy field. So you need to really sort of get that out. And if you need to kind of stay in that moment, then stay in that moment and get used to the feeling. Welcome the feeling. Cultivate the feeling. Examine the feeling. Observe the feeling on all levels. So you're opening up your feeling space, which is oftentimes a full body experience. And it's allowing the analysis to stop. It's allowing the gripping on to the defeatist attitude or the defeating person. So you're letting go of that. And so that's a great mindfulness experience, and to cultivate that. So throughout your day, throughout your recovery dates, that's really what I want you to do. Is not only do you release it in your recovery pages in the recovery journal where you're writing and just getting it out of your system, but the recovery date and the different variety of things that you do is to cultivate that feeling of letting go, and then allowing your healed self to interact with the world at large, and to see and allow it to go where it wants to go and interact with experiences and events, situations, people in that heal whole space. So allowing yourself to remove all the labels and tags that you have sort of had pinned on you, and to let those off of you. So just and then just to begin to allow it to be. So it can be a very quiet experience. It can be a very peaceful experience. It can be a very slow experience. It might feel like your life is in slow motion, but it should feel energetically different. And then repeating that with the astralmations. And so when I say astralmations, it's because it's awakening sort of the higher aspects of you, which is your essence, which has been there with you all along, even through thick and thin, through this relationship with this other individual or a series of individuals or not. So it's to recognize and acknowledge and validate that there's this pure essence about you that is good, that is truth, that is empowered, that is the true like seer beyond all that you see. So it's to live and acknowledge, and once you acknowledge and validate it, you're giving life to that. So you're giving validation, and you're calling that experience into being, and you're calling it into focus. And it's to acknowledge that you do not need to react to the negativity now. And so I'm letting go of that cycle. I'm no longer reacting to the negativity now. I'm no longer reacting to the negativity now. I'm no longer reacting to the negativity now. And so when you do that, you're basically releasing, and I release. And then so when you do that, then you should be able to then fill your cup up with something new. And with the newness, then I want you to have the tools that you can use that are new tools, which are new ways of feeling, new ways of experiencing, and new ways of verbalizing. And so let's get right down to the basics. It has to be energetically, physically, your body and how it attends to this experience. So it's what you look at, what your body, what the neurochemical signals, the muscle twitches. It's how you carry yourself, how you hold yourself. You have to look at and examine that and then see, are you clenched up? Are you armoring? Are you gripping the floor? Are you gripping, in your legs? Are you gripping in your back? Are you gripping in your head? Let go of all the gripping that's trying to defend and protect yourself. And that also will, now we want to release the improper reactions, and then we now want to use the tools that are positive. So encountering the manipulative individuals, you do need to be able to verbalize when somebody violates your boundaries, and do this in a way that is soft, that is effective. And so, for example, if someone is treating you in a way that is violating of your boundaries, that you have energetically experienced in your mindfulness, in your recovery journal, in your recovery date, so you know where your boundaries are. In other words, your boundaries and standards. Let's just get down to it. It is all about respect and that awareness. So it's a very intangible, but yet it's a very real thing. And when this is occurring, you need to understand and be alert to when this occurs, and then stop it in its tracks. And then, so for those people who have been ignoring or have been into the fawn, the freeze and fawn mode, then you need to be able to verbalize this. And once you do work the internal dialogue, you're then able to identify and then execute this, or say these words, do these things that are necessary, so that you deliver the positive message to others that you will not be mistreated in this way, which is to be manipulated, which means to take that free will and out of the experience. So it's to understand and look at it positively, that the experience is all about a positive surprise. And so in my life, in my experiences, in my day-to-day, when this happens, I'm going to follow through with a positive surprise. And that's really what the spontaneity and unfolding is all about. I'm no longer engaging in the self-sacrifice. I'm no longer engaging in lack of protection or expecting others to protect me. I've got that all within. I have both of and all of my own bases covered. And so it's that energetic feeling. And for example, when someone tries to say something to you that is negative or insulting or expecting of you to give, this is the energy that I want you to pay attention to, where you're in essence being taken advantage of, manipulated, treated in a way that they are trying to cultivate, but that is not the real you. Does that make sense? So they're trying to treat you in a way that is projective and treating you in a way that they're trying to project their own hurt and wounds onto you in a way that is not yours. So, for example, someone is trying to just sort of run off at the mouth and, order commands to you or make you feel that you are not good enough. Understand that this is a manipulation, that there is a tug of war. And so you can just say things like, just energetically like that. This is not a tug of war. This is not about who's better or who's worse. This is not about why I am less than and you are greater than. And so speaking these very simple words will help to release that person off the hook and you off the hook. So you're basically saying that's not what this is about. You're not labeling blame. You're not labeling yourself as inferior. You're just dissipating the tension. And then you use the words anyway, and then you carry on. Moving forward, and then you go on. And then you say, or next, and then you follow through. So you're dissipating the tension, and then you use the word moving on, anyway, next, and then you're carrying the discussion forward. And so once you do that, you're able to dissipate the tension and then move the energy forward. It's very important, though, that you are able to stop this negative exchange from continuing, because really that's where people either react or they underreact. They overreact or they underreact. And let's just see here. What is another example of someone who is manipulative? Someone who might be, giving you the look. We have a lot of viewers who have issues with people who are giving them the look or the silent treatment. So there's these sort of nonverbal cues. So you need to be able to then come and address these nonverbal cues. Those looks, take them elsewhere. The silent treatment, take that to the forest. Just the ignoring, let that, go ahead and let that go away. Let that go away. So let that go. Telling others also to let it go is also a good way, a good tool for you to be able to assert yourself and assert boundaries. So that you're coming from that higher conscious awareness and you're giving sort of these releasing commands to the person that shows that you're no longer playing that game. You're not entering into the boxing ring. You can even say that, this is not a boxing ring. This is not, a wrestling match. This is not up for debate. This is not up for quarreling. This is, I don't fight like that. This is, I'm not bringing more negativity into this experience. These simple statements where you are declarative of yourself and you're staying in the positive space, but yet being assertive is a crucial step for you to learn to handle manipulative people. So you don't want to just allow it to happen. Oftentimes people, they're too allowing. They're too tolerant. They've stayed stuck in this. So you need to be able to release them. And as well as we talk about no contact, But yet, if you're in the midst of a situation, or you need to be able to address that. And so it's a very important skill that you learn to embody that, and not as an overly aggressive, but a softly intense way. So it's a cultivation of that energy first, and then the words come. So it's the energy and the physiology first that you need to possess, and you need to understand that you have the right to, and then the words come. And observing of it, so which means you're in that conscious awareness, and then acknowledging of your essence, which is pure and good, and then being able to deliver the message that backs off the bully, the manipulator, someone who is doing something that you are not fond of, but yet asserting it in a way that shows that you're not affected, or not that it bothers you, but you're just saying that that is not tolerated here. So if someone is, for example, in the taking mode, and they're either just going in through their situation, they're acting manipulative. So it's a body language thing. It's a tonality thing. It's something that you can understand. It's something that, you will, it is a sense that you're picking up. And so you don't want to, you're very uncomfortable just allowing it to be. So to break the pattern, you really do need to address the person or people directly, and saying, this causes tension when, you're not inclusive here. Can you please allow for me to interject here? Or will you please allow me to handle this? And not only that, is it important to do that, but to assert your ground is to say, you're not taking all this away from me. You're not taking this experience away from me. So it's letting them off the hook, and letting them know that they can't take over the situation in the way that they are. And so being assertive, but using very few words to deliver your message is highly crucial. And using the words like, it's important that you don't take this. It is important. It is, of utmost priority. And once you use those words, you kind of interject and you diffuse it. And if this person, comes back with, oh, stop, or they're bucking back, then you need to unequivocally stop the situation and allow them to, exit the situation and loop back and just go no contact. If people are going to be a constant battle, then you have no reason to continue the struggle. If you perpetuate the struggle, then that's all you're doing. If the person is not open or receptive to energetic exchange, which allows that to stop, then you unequivocally should stop wasting your energy with this person. You should let it go. It doesn't mean that you're ineffective. It means that this person is so far gone or so problematic that there's nothing that they are beyond reach or beyond communicating with. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.